The Artemis crew is on the move, and astronomy classes across UNT are tracking the mission.
UNT is experiencing budget cuts across the board, and students are not happy.
And ticket prices for the World Cup are on the rise. We'll have the story.
Looking at live pictures from NASA as history is being made. For the first time in 54 years, a manned lunar mission is in orbit. The Artemis 2 rocket successfully launched last night, and today is the first full workday for the crew of 4 astronauts.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Melanie Garcia.
And I'm Landry Brady. This expedition looks a lot different than the 1972 Apollo 17 mission.
That's right, Landry. The crew must make a crucial decision today between staying on course towards the moon or to remain in Earth's orbit. Brian Abel has the update.
We circled it completely, and we forgot how beautiful it is to look down on Earth.
What a view for the 4-astronaut crew of NASA's Artemis 2. Safely into space after a successful launch of its historic mission.
And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
Before they get to their lunar destination, though, a series of maneuvering tests of their chariot, the Orion spacecraft. Then, a decision point this evening to boldly go where no one has gone before or not.
That puts us outbound to the moon. That's a real big commit point.
If they do choose to continue, the roughly 6-minute translunar injection burn will increase Orion's velocity by about 900 miles per hour, propelling the capsule out of Earth's orbit toward the moon. Then slingshotting it around our closest universal neighbor, where the crew will be in a space league of their own.
They're going much farther than the other crews have before. So this is really uncharted territory. It's really important because we've never been to that part. So you don't want to go somewhere you've never been. You don't know what the craters are like. So it's basically charting your way before you actually want to get there and land.
The mission testing our capacity for deeper exploration while inspiring a whole new generation.
I can't wait to see what this generation, the Artemis generation, drives from it.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
UNT Sky Theater is tracking Artemis 2.
NTTV's Camden Renseek is live to tell us more. Camden.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm here at UNT Sky Theater to talk about Artemis's mission around the moon. The astronauts' main goal is to run experiments, demonstrations, test their spacesuits, and capture images of the moon during the shuttle's 10-day mission. I'm here with Jennifer Bradford to talk about what exactly is happening with Artemis 2 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Artemis 2 is a test flight. What they're doing right now is finishing their final orbit around Earth. They're getting ready for a translunar injection burn, which means that they're going to start their voyage to the moon, which will be about 4 days. That burn's going to happen about 6:49 tonight, and then they'll be on their way.
Awesome. And what is UNT doing to kind of keep track of Artemis's mission?
So UNT really is just educating. We're talking about it in our astronomy labs, in our courses, kind of every time we're mentioning it. Let's say our lab tonight is observation of moon and planets, and so we're going to be talking about when we see the moon, hey, look, astronauts are going up that way. So it's a cool opportunity to kind of educate our students on that.
Yeah, and finally, tell me about what y'all are trying to track with y'all's telescope.
Absolutely. So our observatory does star parties as well as the labs, so we're trying our best to see what we can see if we can download some of the information from Artemis 2 that we can open up on our mounts and see as well with our Unitron telescope, which has a good view of the moon if we can see them when they reach there on Monday.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. How life is up there on space, especially with how crammed it is with 4 people in a spacecraft for 10 days. CNN's Jackie Waddles tells us more about what that might look like.
NASA is going back to the moon. And CNN wouldn't give us the money to build our own spacecraft. But we do have our CNN production van, which is kind of like that lunar spacecraft for one key reason.
And liftoff!
Now this is the actual Space Launch System rocket that's part of the Artemis 2 moon mission. huge, and it's the most powerful rocket that NASA has ever launched. But the spacecraft that will take the 4 astronauts around the moon is this very small part at the top. It's called the Orion spacecraft, and it's roughly the same size in its interior as this cargo van. And 4 astronauts are gonna have to live in it for 10 days. We're gonna try 1 hour.
It is important to note that this cargo van has a little bit less internal volume than Orion, but Orion also has instrument panels, storage bays, and life support systems, so the habitable space is roughly the same.
The thing to remember is that when you think of the space of a spaceship, they become much larger when you can float around in them.
Mike Massimino is a former NASA astronaut and mission specialist from 2 space shuttle missions. Probably the most frequent question that astronauts get. All right, who has to go to the bathroom?
Hard no.
On the Orion spacecraft, they more or less poop in a can with a liner and they'll cap it. They won't be able to jettison it, though. They'll have to bring that home with them. The urine is going to be handled similar to what we had on the space shuttle. We would pee into a hose, and then the urine was collected and then dumped overboard.
I think we're going to skip any demonstration of that.
Good luck to those astronauts. This is actually a model of Artemis 1, which is similar to Artemis 2. The astronauts are going to be in something similar to that capsule right there at the top. I bet life looks a lot different up there. For NTTV Nightly News, I'm Camden Rinsink. Back to y'all at the desk.
Well, Andrea, I don't know how hot it is in that van capsule, but I do know it's really hot here in Texas.
Yeah, Mel, I don't think they're sweating near as much up there as we are down here just sitting in our cars.
No, let's head over to our weather anchor, Grace Escobar, for more on these hot temperatures. Grace?
Thanks, guys. I'm personally loving the last little bit of this warm weather before we get into some rain over the weekend. Currently, it's 83 degrees out and feels like 86. There's a nice cool breeze at 16 miles an hour. And even tonight, it's going to stay pretty warm, only dropping to 70 degrees with our breeze sitting around 12 miles an hour. It'll be pretty clear out tonight, not a lot of clouds. But as we move into tomorrow, it's going to be very cloudy. Not a big chance of rain, just a lot of clouds as the storm kind of starts to move in. Still going to be pretty warm with temperatures around 80 and feeling like 83, even though we are going to have a very strong breeze at 21 miles an hour. So I'll have to make sure I have a hair tie on me because I don't today. That's all for First Look. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Grace. This morning, President Donald Trump fired Attorney General Pam Bondi, this after months of scrutiny on how she handled the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. She will be replaced by Assistant Attorney General Todd Blanche. Sources say Trump had been weighing the decision for days. On True Social, he called Bondi an American patriot and said she will be transitioning to a job in the private sector.
Before we hop into Easter, many people will be traveling, and the U.S. gas prices have gone up another 2 cents. According to the latest AAA reading, the average price of gas is now $4.08 a gallon. The month of March saw one of the biggest monthly rises in gas prices since 2022. And in some parts of California, the prices at the pump is $10 a gallon.
Today officially marks 1 year anniversary for Donald Trump's Tariff Liberation Day. In 2025, Trump ordered double-digit tariffs on foreign goods coming into the U.S., assuring citizens this would lower prices in the U.S. and create more jobs. Now, a year since Liberation Day, the economy has had some changes, but not quite what was expected. Since February, the overall unemployment rate is 4% higher, and the overall inflation rate is down about 0.5% lower, but remains high. Some economists believe it's too soon to see the long-term benefits of those tariffs.
Coming up, some officials are pushing back on the state's revised SNAP benefits.
And we'll check out how a UNT Students Organization is celebrating Easter. Stick with us.
Checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DebtQ Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DebtQ Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DebtQ's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.debtq.org to learn more. DebtQ, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
At the beginning of this year, UNT's President Harrison Keller told students via email that the university is $45 million in debt. And last week, he announced his first plan to get the university out of troubled water. I spoke to students around campus about the communication regarding this ongoing issue.
They didn't tell anybody.
That's kind of scary.
It's unfortunate.
It is pretty heartbreaking.
I'm scared. Is it bad?
$45 million. That's the amount of money the University of North Texas budget is short. The solution? Cutting more than 70 programs and combining others.
I just hate to see it that, they don't get as many options.
I think it's just a really strategic way to sort of under the rug cut a bunch of culturally significant programs.
Some media arts, education, dance, geology, and other programs will not be offered at the start of next year. And for geology student ambassador Jenny Long, this came as a shock.
We are such a tight-knit, small little community, and to be losing some of our bigger programs like GIS, our master's GIS program is pretty sad.
Many students were caught off guard by this news that was shared primarily through email, with some students saying they weren't expecting it at all.
I honestly don't know anything about it. I hope a lot of teachers don't lose their jobs.
However, there is still a silver lining for the students already enrolled in these programs.
Thank goodness they're at least going to let us teach it out over seniors and juniors, letting them finish their programs, just not allow any freshmen to enroll. So
the consolidation also brings a new school of communication, media, and writing that will combine existing classes from media arts, technical communication, communication studies, English, and the existing Mayborn School of Journalism. UNT leaders say that these changes are a part of an effort to position the university for long-term stability and lead students into good paying jobs.
For North Texas Television, I'm Landry Brady.
New updates to food assistance programs in Texas could impact thousands of families across the state. Our segment anchor Jenny Yanes joins us now with what these changes mean and how local organizations are stepping in to help.
Thanks, guys. Recent changes to Texas SNAP's benefits, also known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, could affect access to food for many families. Some of the changes won't allow SNAP users to purchase non-nutritious items such as candy and sodas. CNN's Lee Waldman has more.
Families can't purchase things like Gatorade for kids' sports, trail mix for healthy but kid-friendly snacks, or candy for a diabetic sugar crash.
Amber O'Connor at Every Texan, a nonprofit organization focused on public policy, is worried for the 3.5 million people on SNAP in Texas over changes to what's covered.
We're rolling something out as a testing and proving ground for bad policy that hurts vulnerable Texans.
Texas is one of 22 states that has sought a SNAP food restriction waiver from the USDA. Later this month, Florida and Colorado's changes will go into effect. The waivers restrict the purchase of non-nutritious items to ensure that taxpayer dollars provide nutritious options that improve health outcomes within SNAP. SNAP retailers in many of these states will now have notices to help consumers understand what's covered. But Gina Pallotta-Nino at the Food Research and Action Center fears there will still be confusion.
It's going to cause a lot of confusion. It's going to cause a lot of shame and stigma, and people not knowing why items they could have purchased beforehand are no longer eligible.
A 2025 report from 3 industry trade groups estimated that implementing SNAP restrictions would cost retailers $1.6 billion up front, a financial loss that could discourage grocers from participating in SNAP.
The former dietary guidelines said that in order for people to have a healthy diet, they needed to be able to shop and afford the food where they live, where they went to school, and where they gather. None of those things are being met.
Organization advocates continue to warn that restricting unhealthy foods will make healthy food more affordable. As changes to SNAP benefits continue, local organizations are working to make sure the community still has access to food and essential resources. With recent changes to SNAP benefits leaving, some North Texans concerned about access to food, local organizations are stepping in to fill the gap. At the University of North Texas, the campus food pantry is partnering with Tarrant Area Food Bank to host a mobile food pantry event. The event will take place in Lot 20 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or until supplies run out, and is open to anyone in need. Organizers encourage students and community members to arrive early, as food will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jenny. I honestly thought the rain that we got last night would cool us down more than it did.
Yeah, me too, Landry. But I talked to our weather anchor, Grace Escobar, earlier, and she told me some relief to this unusually warm spring that might be coming soon.
Grace, what do you have for us?
That's right, guys. It will be cooling down as we move later into the week, but first let's look across North Texas. And we'll see a mix of 82s, 83s, some 81s like in Sherman and McKinney. Bowie is pretty warm at 85, then out in Graham 87, but as I said, a lot of 82s, 83s as we look across DFW. But when we look across the state, we can see that there's a little bit more variation. Down in Austin and Houston, it's a little bit cooler with Houston being 78, and then over in Amarillo, it's 84, out in El Paso 81, but still pretty warm for this time of year. Now as we look at our 7-day forecast, we can see that it is going to get cooler like we talked about. On Saturday especially, temperatures are going to start to drop. It's going to be 69 with a low of 46, and we're going to have a 97% chance of rain. As we move into Sunday and finish out the weekend, it's not going to be raining as much, and it will be partly cloudy, so we will start to pick those temperatures back up. On Monday, it's going to be 75 with a low of 45, and Tuesday and Wednesday are going to stay around those mid to high 70 ranges. On Wednesday, it's going to be the highest temperature for the second half of the week at 77 with a low of 59. And then Thursday is when we are going to see some rain again at 76 with a low of 63 and a 43% chance of rain. So those April showers are going to be coming back. And now while temperatures are cooling off slightly as we move into the next week, this spring we are seeing overall high temperatures. And after 2.5 weeks of winter and 3 weeks of spring, it looks like we are heading toward an early summer. This March was the top 10 warmest of all the 40-plus government records in Denton County. The average high was 78.6, which was over 11 degrees warmer than the normal high. That's all for weather. Back to you, Melanie and Landry.
Thanks, Grace. With Easter right around the corner, do you know if there's anything on campus that I can do to celebrate?
Yeah, Landry, there's actually an Easter egg painting social over in Winton Hall right now, and our live shot reporter, Nick Stocklosa, is there with more. Nick, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Melanie. I'm here on UNT campus, where over the weekend we're going to be seeing a lot of UNT student organizations hosting Easter egg painting events, where UNT students are welcome to stop by and paint eggs for free. But if you're looking to buy eggs of your own this year, you might be in luck, as the price of eggs has dropped a whole 60% in the past year. A dozen eggs that was $6.23 in March of last year is now all the way down to $2.50 per dozen. But if you're like me and prefer candy on Easter, things aren't looking as good. Since 2020, the price of Easter candy has raised 67%. Popular candies like Reese's, Cadbury, and Hershey's usually cost between $3.50 to $4, but now they range from $5 to $8. But of course, you're always welcome to stop by here if you want to paint eggs for free. But that's everything I have for you for right now. Back to you guys in the studio.
If you're a coffee lover, there's a club on campus that's perfect for a study break.
And a local restaurant owner is nominated for a national prestigious award. We'll have the story.
What does Talents do?
So I am the Vice President of External Relations for Talents. That means that I basically oversee all the external committees. Our external committees entail our Model A, it's a Mean Green Machine. So they bring it to football games especially, so every game it's kind of there, every home game. The Model A is like a symbol of UNT pride, and it's a big tradition that we are so lucky to uphold and maintain. When people look at it, they see it, and they're like, oh, that's the Mean Green Machine. There must be a game today or something to ramp up school spirit for basketball, softball, volleyball, any of those things. We have amazing teams, so we just want to show school spirit for them. Bonfire Committee, which is in charge of putting together the bonfire every year for homecoming. It's kind of just a whole semester-long process up until Build Week that we have to put together and oversee and make sure safety regulations are followed and risk management is taken care of. Cannon Crew, which oversees and takes care of the cannon. They fire it at games, they take it to special occasions.
Sometimes in the afternoon, my classes after they get wrapped up, I get so tired and need a pick-me-up, so I love grabbing a coffee to get my energy up. Our segment anchor, Riley Oldenburg, has the perfect place to visit. Riley?
Thanks, Landry. Yes, that's right. I had the chance to visit the UNT Coffee Beans Club, and it is the perfect place for an afternoon pick-me-up, whether it's the coffee, the people, or the activities.
UNT's Coffee Beans Club is not only offering coffee to students.
It's just a place where students come outside of their classwork and
and just talk to fellow students and get to learn about other people in different fields. And we have coffee every single meeting.
I really love the atmosphere of the club, but I like that we're able to make our own coffee.
They offer activities such as game nights, movie nights, crafts, and more.
This semester we're asking guest speakers to come from local coffee shops and get to learn about what it takes to open a business and stuff like that.
Zeno Grounds is a co-working space. It's a place where you can come do your homework, you can come and read a book, you can come and do whatever you need to do.
A local coffee shop in Denton, Zeal's Coffee Hub, is offering an exclusive deal for members of the club. If you're a member, you get 25% off your first purchase and 15% off every purchase after that. Join UNT Coffee Beans Club in the Language Building from 5 to 6:30 p.m. every Monday in room 212 to have some fun and make your very own coffee. With NTTV News, I'm Riley Oldenburg. Or not, this club acts as the perfect place to slow down and take a break from all of your classes. That's all from me. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Riley. A national coffee chain is also putting the spotlight on their employees by hoping to pay them more. Starbucks will now allow customers picking up their mobile orders to add tips with credit and debit cards, which means more money for the baristas. Also, the company has introduced performance-based bonuses. Baristas could earn up to $1,200 more a year if their store meets targets for sales and customer satisfaction. Overall, the change could increase their paychecks up to 8%.
In local restaurant news, a Denton restaurant owner and chef has been nominated for the prestigious James Beard Award. The organization nominated Scott Gerling for Best Chef in Texas. He owns and runs Ostra Il Muro just off the square. Gerling is one of the 2 North Texas chefs nominated for various awards by this organization. Gerling opened his reservation-only restaurant in 2022. The fine dining menu changes every day with a focus on seasonal dishes. The winner will be announced in June in Chicago.
Well, guys, having dinner at a nice restaurant can be a little pricey for college students.
Actually, it's a bargain compared to the recent news from the World Cup.
Let me guess, the prices are going up again?
You've got it. If you have a spare $11,000, you too can snag a seat. The last round of ticket sales began yesterday, all going for top dollar. It hasn't been an easy process, long wait times on the internet, glitches in the systems, and limited seats for the big matches. FIFA says their price increases reflect the strong demand for the tickets, but critics say it's extortion. That being said, there are some sports that are a bit more budget-friendly for those who can't spare the extra $11,000, including some current action right here in Denton. I'll have all things sports when we come back.
Craving something fresh, flavorful, and made just for you? Look no further than Avesta, your go-to destination for delicious, full-service dining experience. Dive into our customizable omelets, expertly crafted by our talented cook Jonathan, who guarantees every bite is perfection. All our dishes are handmade, prepared with only the freshest ingredients. Explore our assembly line where you can choose from any of our globally inspired dishes, or customize your plate. It's that easy. And let's not forget dessert. Indulge your sweet tooth with treats from Clark Bakery. With convenient payment methods including card or flex, it's the perfect dining spot for any occasion. Quench your thirst with our wide selection of drinks. Just hand your drinking card to our friendly waiter, and they'll bring your beverage of choice right to your table. When you're done savoring every last bite, our attentive staff will whisk away your tray. Enjoy the peaceful ambiance as you dine in, or use our takeout option for a meal on the go. Avesta.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
Good evening, my name is Amanda Hasbell and I'm joining you here today in the Union Parking Garage. Today we're going to be going over how to drive safely in the parking garage. Let's go see. Oh my god! Oh my god! This girl just got hit by a car. Let's go see what happened. Ma'am, are you okay? Are you okay?
Did you see that lady hit me with a car?
Yeah, we did. I got it all on video.
Oh my god.
Let's go over here and talk about how we can prevent that.
Yeah, not the hospital.
Well, right now we're going to ask you a couple questions on how we can drive safely in the parking lot. What are ways that we can be aware of our surroundings?
Oh, we can look both ways.
Jenna, also, how about putting the distractions away?
Yes, just like our phones, turning our music down, and also not focusing on our passengers.
Where can you get information on how to get a parking pass?
Transportation.unt.edu.
If you park in a garage, make sure you pay on the app or look for further instructions on how you should pay.
And remember, no pass, no park. Let's all try to keep our Mean Green community safe.
Remember, we're all in this together.
Drive safe.
University of North Texas softball is facing off against Florida Atlantic in a doubleheader today, trying to recover from back-to-back losses against Charlotte this past weekend. Our live shot reporter Evanson Franklove is at the game with an inside look. Evanson, what are we looking at with this matchup?
That's right, Elias. I'm at Lovelace Stadium trying to dodge softballs while your Mean Green, they are knocking them out the park. Game 2 is right now, and your Mean Green won Game 1 in a doubleheader against FAU. Now, this is a long-standing rivalry between UNT and FAU as they both sit at the top of the American Conference at 9-3. Now, this was a much-needed win for the Mean Green today, as prior to today, they lost the previous 2 games, and FAU is a very talented team. Now, hopefully my presence and my support will get them another win today. If not, put me in, Coach. I think I'm ready. I got it. For NTTV News, I'm Evanson Franklove.
Dallas Trinity FC is on a 2-game loss streak after Tuesday's loss against Tampa Bay FC at home. Dallas Trinity is currently ranked 4th, and their most recent loss came against 8th place Tampa. Although they have lost the last 2 games, they haven't had a win in the past 4, with the 2 games before their losses ending in draws. Dallas is 4 points behind the 3rd-ranked Carolina Ascent FC with 7 games left in the season. Despite their current points deficit, they're still in a spot for the upcoming Gainbridge Super League playoffs. And Florida law enforcement authorities have released body camera footage of the arrest of golfer Tiger Woods after a rollover crash last week, after which he was charged with driving under the influence. Officers on the scene did tell Woods they believed he was impaired and found 2 unidentified pills in his pocket when emptying them prior to his arrest. Woods has been involved in 4 incidents involving vehicle crashes since 2009. Woods has also refused a urine test, which is in violation of Florida's implied consent law. Following the arrest, Woods has announced he will be stepping away from his sports for a period of time to focus on healing and has submitted a request to seek medical care outside of the country. That's all I've got for sports this week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Elias. Okay, Mel, what would you do if you ran into an armadillo the size of a lion?
I think I'd run the other way.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't live in Texas during the dinosaur years. 2 UT scientists were snorkeling in an underground cave in central Texas and came across a treasure trove of undisturbed fossils. Some have been there for more than 100 years.
The scientists say they found the remains of a giant tortoise and a close relative to our own Texas armadillos, this one of the size of a lion. These discoveries are raising new questions about just what the climate was like in the prehistoric Texas environment.
I don't know about you, Melanie, but I would not want to live during that time.
Yeah, me either, Landry. I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah. Thank you for watching NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again next week here on North Texas Television.